Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to Peace Home Studio with your host, Connie Murphy, in my sewing room, sewing like a wild woman. And we got a lot to cover today. I want to get through it quickly so you can get on with your day. And so, my list is ready. Here we go. Hold on to your butts. It's time to talk about bunnies, sewing, books, Christmas, baskets, lists, and the Raggedy review. I don't know if you can see them behind me. They're awesome. They're really piling up around here. Oh my goodness, look at them all. Now, I have to be totally honest. Some of them are rescues, but the great majority of them I made. Talk about making friends. And we also have bunnies. I'll talk about that too. Let's talk about the Raggedy review. Oh, the Raggedy's. Guys, these Raggedy's hug so well. I was kind of sick this week. I had a stomach bug. It sort of slowed me down. I tried to get some work in with those guys, but I just ended up, needing a hug. Now, I decided not to work on them too much because I didn't want to breathe on them. But the ones that live with me, that stay with me, that I keep, they were offering up some good hugs this week. I know you'll like to have those hugs too. Now, here's some bunnies. We saw them last week. They're done. Oh. Okay, here's our little guy bunny. He's got a pocket. Oh, he's got little feet. I put pads on the bottom of his feet and inside his hands. I also put the contrasting fabric in his ears too. We talked about that last week. And they surpassed all my expectations. Here's Mama Bunny. She's got a little wrap to keep her ears out of her way while she's working on her canning vegetables and whatnot. I made her her apron out of a really old handkerchief, and it turned out great. Again, she's got the contrasting fabric on her paws, on her feet, and I don't know, it just gives that nice little touch that feels like we go the extra mile to make it super, super sweet. And again, it also tells a little bit of a story. I love the stories that come behind them. Everybody's an individual in here in Peace Home Studio. Everybody's different. Everybody's unique. So everybody gets tweaked in their own special way. All right. We're going to talk about a book, basically. Now, we went on a book trip last Saturday. I said that I might, to McKay's used books and whatnot. That is the best and most organized used book outlet I have ever. And I've been to a few. The things I picked up this week I thought would be good. They were okay, but they weren't really the treasures that some of my other purchases have been. This is one that I bought, probably trip before last. Martha Stewart Living Classic Crafts and Recipes for the Holidays. I think it's copyrighted 2001. I went back to this one as I was getting my lists ready. You guys got your lists rolling for Christmas. It just, I don't know. It comforts me to know which way I'm going, to have a plan. That's all I'm saying. Martha's books are great, but this one is really great. It has fantastic recipes that I feel like I actually can do. It has great ideas. This could be my favorite of her books. So I dug around in there. I dug around on the internet. One of the things that I really, really love to do is make jar mixes. One beautiful layered jar mix in a Christmas basket. It just adds that piece of home. It's a gift that can sit on the shelf and look beautiful and then be used later. It doesn't have to be gobbled up the first week after it's received. And a soup, or, I've put cookie recipes, I think, before, but this year I chose like a bean soup, and it's fantastic. But this is my whole point of talking about this. When you start early and going through your stuff, and you kind of get little ideas through the year, and you sort of toss those things into a little corner or place where you mound your Christmas hoard. If you check on those things, kind of the real nitty gritty of it and kind of working it out, you'll find that there are problems. I don't like a problem a month before Christmas or a week before Christmas. Oh gosh, the panic. I like to have all those things kind of ironed out early. So I thought I would go ahead and work on my jars, my layered jars. I didn't do them last year because I was a little tight on time. This year I wanted to do it. So I wanted to talk about jars. All right, I am a jar person. I love jars. I'm going to bring them over. Just love me. Takes a minute. But then we can do it. I'll probably cut this out. All right. Mason jars are fantastic things to have in your kitchen. When I was a girl, my mother and my grandmother would can some vegetables, and so mason jars were always stuck away somewhere in our house, kind of hoarding up and getting ready for harvest and harvesting vegetables. But they also serve a lot of other purposes for storage. I love to store things like, here I've got Laura bars in there. I love Laura bars. Oh my goodness. My dear friend, remember the canned tomatoes? I got 2 jars from her. They're beautiful, but I used a jar last week in chili and we couldn't get enough of it. I know some people don't do chili in the summer, but I'm a bean lover. I can't help it. And that chili was spectacular. It was really good. It's gone. I made it 2 days ago. It is gone. And I made, this much of tomato sauce of it. So I really, really love mason jars. This one's pretty. It's got a little cornucopia. I think everybody's seen these before. But I've also been collecting these. My husband and I have a favorite store-bought spaghetti sauce that we like to get, and it comes in these Atlas mason jars. I love them because they have measurements on the side. They look old-fashioned because they have these big letters on them. I'm a big fan of font on things, and it's really has a throwback look. I really appreciate that company, and you'll see more of this around using these jars. Maybe they do it to make their product more appealing. I just love to reuse things. So I've hoarded up a few of these. So in getting ready with my lists and looking up recipes and getting ready for filling them, I decided to go ahead and look at them. And most recipes for layering jars are for this size jar, not for this size jar. You don't realize this is smaller than this until you put them side by side. So I got my trusty measuring cup, water. It's the best way to measure. This one has measurements on the side, but for layered jars, we want to measure it all the way to the top because that's how far you fill them. A lot of times you even have to pack them. So this holds 4 cups. This holds 3 cups. What to do? What to do? It looked as though all my little plans were about to go down the drain. But it's okay. I know math. People who like to cook are usually fairly decent at math and numbers. So I just took the recipe. Well, okay. The first problem was I need all of them. I need all of the ones I have of this, and I need all of the ones I have of this size. But all baskets are not created equal, guys. Of course they're not. Look, when I make my list, I have learned over the years to designate small, medium, and large baskets. I do it by family or by, if a child still lives at home, even an adult child, they get lumped into the family basket. If that adult child has moved out, they get their own. That's the way I look at it. We have people and families of 1 and 2, and we have people and families of 4 and 5 and 6. So all baskets, they're going to be different. They're going to have a different number of goodies in there based on how many people are going to be eating out of it. So the same goes for soup and layered jar gifts. You know, somebody that's only 1 person, 2 people, they're not going to need this much. They're going to need this much. So these big jars will go in big baskets. See? It just sits in there. It's so pretty. And smaller jars will go in smaller baskets. Oh, why do I make things so hard for myself? I don't know. Now, the contents, the only kind of problem there is, and it's not really a problem, is going from 4 cups to 3 cups. Reduce the ingredients by 1/4. It sounds scary, but it's not. 2 cups becomes 1.5 cups. 4 teaspoons turns into 3 teaspoons. It's rare that anything is going to be very, very hard, and if it is, use a calculator and just sort of guess. It's okay. It's homemade soup. When you make homemade soup, do you measure everything you put in there? No. Do your best. It'll look pretty, it'll taste great, but reduce it by whatever you have to do. Learn to work it out. That's what Peace Home is all about. Use what you've got. Figure out how it fits. If it doesn't fit, out it goes. But there's usually a way. And it's good for your thinking bone. So that's what I did there. Now, one side note about these jars. They do come from spaghetti sauce. Throw the lid away. Okay? Because no matter what you do to it, it's had food on it. It's gross. Glass is nice. It is non-porous, so it washes out and there's no residue left. But used lids, that's why they're in 2 pieces. So you can keep this part and throw this part away. But in the case of this, you have to buy a whole new thing. Look at that. There's 12 universal metal lids and rings. This cost me $2 maybe at Walmart. It's nothing. And you know, take your jar with you if you need to. I think this is one of them. See? Yay! So, problem solved for today. Who knows what tomorrow will bring. Thank you for tuning in. I love it. I might be posting a few things on my Peace Home Studio Facebook page as far as selling a couple of things. I'd like to get some of my work into the hands of people who maybe don't know me that well. Everybody that has bought so far has been people that know me, and they all seem to have been very happy, but again, they know me, they love me, they won't tell me the truth maybe, I don't know. I just need some really good feedback before I launch onto Etsy. So if I decide to put that up, I will give everybody who is on my Facebook Peace Home Studio page first come, first serve priority, and you are my base, you are my first love people, and I really trust your opinions, so be watching out for that. And thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe. I'm still getting over that funky thing, so I might not have been quite as I usually am, but I am very in my heart, and know that I am so happy to visit with you guys. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Bye. Oh, I can't find my little clicky. Clicky. Clicky Bo Ricky.